Are you actually like
That's
faking?
the sound of me leaving.
Or we can just hear them taking off their headsets as well. So I think Dutch just like slammed his down right there, making his mark.
With his massive biceps.
Yeah,
I felt them. They felt good.
You heard Trez talking about Swole not looking too swole, but you can't see their legs in the picture.
He also almost just fell over as he left.
Oh, here we go into our first match of the day of day 2 of the Pro League of the Americas. Some Rose already pushing up middle, and again we talked about this forklift position before.
Yeah, say goodbye.
Oh yeah, he's gone.
No, I mean the forklift. It's gone.
Oh, yeah.
In the new update, that's gone.
Rest
so
in peace.
Last time you'll see the beautiful forklift, except for I guess when Cash comes back in. But either way, Swag, he's here again. Now he did this yesterday. It looks like it's going to get checked, but he still manages to connect one shot at least. Is there with a trade right back, and well, it's left all onto Neptune. He does have a kit and a smoke, which is always something that can cause some havoc. He's going to be sneaking through, looking for the man planting the bomb. Finds him as well, but Fur is very quick on the refrag. 3 kills from him. We spoke about this yesterday, like being a little bit worried about how he was going to play with his wrist. It didn't seem to affect him at all.
Yeah, not at all. Not at all. I think I'm curious about like long term how it's going to affect him. If it's eventually going to cause like a chronic pain, if he's continually playing like that. But for me also, one thing we have to take a look at this series is the fact that MIBR before yesterday did not look good at all. They didn't have much time to practice, obviously going from Blast Moscow over to V4 in Budapest and Hungary. But they talked about how they have finally had some time to work on some things, for instance, like Inferno. But how will they have been able to work on a map like Vertigo? And that's why I was talking about random things, because that round concluded as almost quick as we started it. But how well have they been able to practice a map like this is my question. And obviously KNG had a phenomenal game yesterday. He looked amazing. Fur, he looked solid as ever. But this map, I mean, it's been played less than 3 times with them in the last 3 months.
Yeah, it's something worth mentioning, but at the same time, we saw in the interview with Taco yesterday where he actually said, we know that teams want to pick Inferno against us because it's been a bad map for us, so we practiced it. And like obviously that they want to get back to sort of old MIBR where they had plenty of maps to play with, and I think they're a team that definitely can do it. They've got the work ethic, they've had to grind through before. Either way, it is going to be this push on towards the B site. A faster play coming in from MIBR. Of course, they have some weakened weapons, so that's why they're just trying to get into the site as quickly as possible. The defense, however, has pretty much all rotated, and I wonder if this is going to be the moment where the T side opt to back off a little bit, maybe reset the round. There's some fairly quick rotations on this map. You can even see Fallen is pretty much checking on it.
Yeah, Neptune playing a very aggressive position on top of the box, trying to play over the smoke. T-side's not actually backed off this one. Neptune's going to spawn out the first player, just going to back away, trying to stay alive. And time still on the side of MIBR, so they're going to look to push in, and Neptune tries to take the duel, loses it to Lucas, but gets him very low in HP, so you have 2 members now, him and KNG, susceptible to being picked off very quickly. Swag sitting in the back of sight. Gets that first. He's going to be eventually spotted by the man towards ramp. Gets the second as well. That's the bomb now down. Lucas finally able to drop him with the MAC-10, but it's still going to be a 2-on-2.
Decent position as well. We saw this used before. Fallen is going to trade things back onto the 1 versus 1. Bear in mind, Ye doesn't have any head armor, so 1 bullet to the face will do it, and that's exactly what Fallen does. 7 kills already to his name, just 3 rounds in, and they're going to win their bonus round, sending their money skyrocketing, and unfortunately leaving their opponents with just pistols.
Just pea shooters.
Yeah, the good old pea shooter.
You sounded really American there, I'm just going to say.
I know, I'm picking it up.
Look at that, 3 days here, and you can already speak American. But yeah, that's going to be MIBR off to a flawless start. 3-0, as you mentioned before. I want to see, though, in particular, like Ye picking up the op and see how he can do up against Fallen and KNG, because he really surprised me yesterday. I know he's been able to do it really well in the past. Again, we see a nice little push coming out of Swole Patrol. The one thing that worries me, though, as I talked about, I think Swole Patrol can take this map, is are they going to be very one-dimensional on their CT side? Because we've seen them rush middle, or rush the ramp, just yesterday up against Furia, and it worked out here or there. It's hit or miss a couple of times, but did catch them off guard for the first round. But obviously a team like MIBR with an in-game leader like Fallen, it's not going to happen too many times that you'll catch him with his pants around his ankles.
Well, I think the other problem was that as well, their T side was also just fairly basic. Like, they were basically just going to what everybody did originally on this map, which was, okay, let's just keep trying A takes again and again and again. So who knows? Nice work from Neptune to at least get 1 kill, but the round shouldn't really be possible, and with Taco just waiting below him, that is going to be another on the ball for the T side. A strong start for them. Always important, of course, and we know that how scary their double op setup can be, which I'm actually interested to see if that will become a part of this map. Like, if you just leave, say, KNG dominating that A site and just allow Fallen to be a bit more free flow between B and middle, I think that could be terrifying set up to come up against. And on the other side, well, maybe you see a secondary pulled out. I don't think so. I think it's unlikely, considering only really Ye picked it up yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we know Swag can do it, but we didn't really see him invest into it. He did have it like in one of the rounds that I can imagine, but it was just picked up off the ground. It's not like he wanted to buy up that weapon.
They also didn't have money a lot of the time because of the way the rounds were, where they were losing clutch situations. And I think that was one of the main problems they had, at least when it came to Inferno, was they never had any money.
Yeah.
They were always playing with force buys or pistols. And to be fair to them, they managed to win a few, but ultimately, I think that's what cost them the match. So hopefully they're going to do a little bit better with their economy this time. It's good to see Ye on the AWP, yet to frag. Come on, that's what we're kind of hoping to start here.
And you kind of mentioned something that I want to touch on here. It was the fact that Swole Patrol, there was quite a few rounds that they had a 5-on-3 man advantage, and they would still lose it. I think we counted like 3 or 4 times within Inferno alone. And you obviously can't have something like that happen. Obviously, Furia and MIBR are very strong teams. MIBR are going to punish the hell out of you for that. And hopefully for Swole Patrol, they'll be able to prevent things like that from happening this time and be able to lock down the rounds that they should be able to win. Because if you look at those rounds they did lose, it was 16-12 on Inferno. They potentially could have won that map if they got those 4 rounds that they had the advantage with. So let's see if Swole Patrol have been able to talk things over since last night and this morning. And MIBR going for a very passive kind of play, trying to catch out Swole Patrol being aggressive. And I like this because I think that's what we're going to see out of Swole Patrol, is use that aggression when they can.
Yeah, the only problem is Taco's managed to get very close without much of a challenge. A lot of the success from Swole Patrol previously was getting aggressive on this ramp, taking it away from Furia, and basically just keeping them scared for the majority of the game. Instead, they've given up a lot of these positions, maybe showing a little bit too much respect, and Fer is already going to be getting the opener in this direction, leaving Sub Rosa just to try and spam through the smoke. Swag does have a bit of utility to expend, but I don't think they're going to be able to do anything about denying this bomb for him.
Sub Rosa able to get a little bit of damage through. Swag actually being flashed the smoke, but unfortunately the flashbang catches him. He gets caught out by Fallen. And Neptune, in a decent position, actually punished him. Ye's going to get the first. He's actually just going to run away from this one, trying to survive with AWP, as Neptune's actually still here on the site. He has no kit in hand, but he's going to make it expensive. Gets the first, gets the second, and no one's actually really around the bomb at the moment. The problem is with no kit, he can't pull off this defuse too easily. Ye's not even here, so he's just trying to bait in the players, take away their weapons. Ideally for him, though, escape with his own, and you can see pushing through smoke at the wrong time as Fallen pushes as well. Gets another kill, and he also was able to pull off the last as well, and that's not bad. 3 kills for Neptune, 1 for Ye. They take down 4 players. It's just unfortunate the economy's so stable at the moment out of MIBR. It's not like they're going to force them to save anytime soon.
Oh, Lucas questioning his mouse a little bit there, but other than that, yeah, you're right. He does a lot of damage. He makes things at least a little bit interesting in a round. There's a world where you kind of see maybe he can sneakily defuse the bomb, but unfortunately isn't going to get away with anything. And yeah, as you mentioned, financially not in too much of a stable position at the moment. Yeah, he's going to be able to at least save the AWP, and again, we'll have some pistols up for Swole Patrol, but a pretty slow start to the game, and that's not really what you want on this sort of map. You want to get your economy rolling. You want to be able to have that utility to try and start taking some control away. And at the moment, MIBR are just dominating.
Yeah, I almost want to see them set up Ye for some op kills, at least in this round. Maybe a little bit of presence towards mid, look for a couple of weapons they could pick up. Sub Rosa already able to take down K and G, so that's not a bad start. Not able to rescue the weapon, unfortunately. I still see MIBR just kind of spreading around the map, trying to use the aggression of Swole Patrol to their advantage. And it's not bad. That's what I was talking about. That's what I kind of wanted to see. Help facilitate Ye to hit some shots, and that's Fallen going down. They should expect a second player there. It's a 5-on-3. Now, we did talk about them losing quite a few of these yesterday, but they only have pistols this time. And Taka still has a chance to catch out Zelsis and potentially Swag, hopefully making that call. Zelsis can just turn around. Oh! And that's what we talked about. You cannot afford to not take those shots sometimes.
Yeah, I think Taco is more focused on winning the round rather than just getting a single kill, and unfortunately for him, he gets caught out. I don't necessarily mind the play. Like, when you're in a 5v3, you need to try and make bigger plays than just getting a single kill, so that's fair enough. He's going to try and save this AWP. The problem is there's still a few pistols on the opposing side, so they can afford to push this. They can afford to try and remove this AWP or pick it up more importantly, and give them something free into the next round. But this is a massive boost for Swole Patrol. As mentioned, even though they lost some silly rounds yesterday, they still managed to win some as well. Like, they were pulling off rounds with pistols and rounds with low weaponry. This time, well, it was Sub-Rosa to actually get the majority of the kills, and I think it's important for them that he gets off to a strong start, because we saw it yesterday on the second half of Inferno. He was fantastic. In the first half, he was non-existent. And versus MIBR, that's not really a possibility.
Oh. You hate to see it. You hate to see it. But again, we're looking now at potentially like a 3-5 scoreline, still in favor of MIBR. Because of the damage they did with Neptune in the prior round to this one, he was able to get the 3 kills. Ye got 1. Hurts the economy out of MIBR here. They take down 4 players, potentially could have taken the 5th after time. But if MIBR loses this round, we could be looking at Swole Patrol getting that start we wanted to see out of them to have a strong initial bankroll going. But they need to have some clean rounds, and Sub-Rosa might have a lot of company here, gets caught looking the wrong way. And Ye not able to avenge that frag.
He's got to be careful here. Nice shot. Quick flick to get rid of Fur, and well, the Tees are still going to look to push this forward. Boost thrown in. I doubt MIBR will expect this many people to actually be into middle. Like, starting with 3 players around this angle is quite uncommon. Guessing where their opponents are going to be fighting, and a good call. Unfortunately, they haven't really come out on top just yet, and still trying to work out where the play is going to be coming in. It's not really decided as of yet. Normally, mid-control suggests that a B-side take will be coming in, unless you're going to go all the way on the wraparound, which definitely not ideal. And that'll be something that definitely becomes a bit more interesting when it comes to the new map update, as the door has actually disappeared that it leaks in towards this B-side. So it'll be more of a wraparound through middle, unless, of course, you jump through the boost. So there's definitely going to be some interesting changes coming into this map, but for now, they don't have to worry about that. That's something that has not been implemented yet. For the T side, they're going to have to try and break into this B side. Luckily for them, there's only one man there, but it is Neptune. He had a fantastic round a couple ago. Ye should be here on the rotation, but he needs to move a little bit quicker, because if his teammate gets overwhelmed, the bomb could be going down. 20 seconds left on the clock. Neptune is going to pick up one, still just lurking around the smoke, and now the cavalry arrives. KNG is able to get a trade. The problem is now they're running out of time. They need to try and get this bomb down. They're even going to fake it out, and Fallen, he has 10 seconds to either get the bomb down or kill both of these people, and while that Molotov is just going to force him out, Zelsis pushes, and Swole Patrol get their second.
Well done by Neptune. The amount of time he stalled for, yeah, he only got 1 kill, but he's able to just allow the rotations to come through. Ye got there in the perfect moment to help save his life, at least in the beginning. Only 2 players survived on the side of Swole Patrol, but again, they've done damage to the economy out of MIBR.
Yeah.
If anything, a force-up with just pistols could be in the cards for the Brazilian side. And they do have some deagles. And obviously, in the past, we have seen so many amazing plays out of them, but Swole Patrol potentially on the verge of getting 3. And I think they need to have a good round here. Look at the money they currently have, because of the buy-ups in this round alone. And if they lose this round, then MIBR could be taking 2 back-to-back. But are we starting things off with Sub-Rosa taking down Taco? And I think, you know, again, in the pre-match, talking about Neptune, I'm kind of impressed with him over the course of yesterday and today. I mean, he was the worst-rated player on the team, the only one below 1. But he's shown up, and the newest addition to the team, he's been able to do a really good job with the amount of time he's been actually within this roster.
And only 17 years of age, I believe, so hey, there's still an awful lot to come from this guy. He was picked up initially by Steel in Ghost, and anybody who's picked up by Steel, I'm going to keep my eye on them. Like, let's put it that way. I think he knows much more about Counter-Strike than I ever will, so I will take his advice when it comes to picking up youngsters. Well, now left on to Fallen, just in an attempt to do a little bit of extra damage, but only 1 player lost. And Swole Patrol, at least individually, seem to be coming into this strong. And I actually bumped into Frod earlier in the elevator, and he was saying that they're looking to come in early today, which I believe they did.
Yep.
They were warming up. They definitely got here before we did, so they've had a couple of hours to sort of get ready for the match, not just turning up and like doing a little bit of warm-up. They've been prepared for this, and they're definitely taking this very seriously, as they should do. The only worry for me is that so far we've seen them get some of these games close, like yesterday. last season they went out, I believe, without winning a single map, which is obviously going to be painful for them. Some of them, again, were close, but you want to start showing improvements. Like, you've changed players, you've left your organization, or that's how it was sort of framed by them. It doesn't seem like they were dropped. It was more, okay, we want more from an organization. We don't just want some financial backing. We want to, like, create a brand. We want to create a team. And I appreciate all of this stuff. Like, it's the same things that we saw from, like, Hiko in the past, where he went, yeah, I could have just taken the paycheck, but instead he goes from being in Cloud9, ends up in Liquid, and does far more there than he could have done. So it's good to make these sort of decisions, but now you have to basically show to organizations, why are we picking you up over all the other talent that's currently within the scene?
When you look at, if you compare them to like what Optic, who are still looking for organization, they obviously lose out on a player. Kind of hurts for them considering they were trying to stay together as a team, but obviously when you're offered that paycheck versus none, you're going to take any day of the week. And right now, yeah, he's going to fall, gets aggressive with the up. Had no real backup there, so kind of unfortunate that he missed that first shot. But Lucas just kind of walking into the site with no real presence. Some Molotovs being thrown in to delay a potential plant. But he will get the bomb down, and we will have the after plant situation kick off.
Celsius knowing that something needs to change in this round, an aggressive play through the smoke, but this is where things get a little bit tough. Players lurking down the back lines behind the smokes. They've got an open bomb plant as well, and clearing out these positions, especially with so little utility, is going to be very, very difficult for Swole Patrol. Flashbang will blind up a couple. Now they're just trying to find the picks, but Taco is instantly going to remove 2 players' heads. And while Celsius is just going to run for the hills, MIBR right back onto the board the second they get their buy. And the CT side, well, they should be able to purchase into the next round. In fact, they should be fairly comfortable.
Celsius just trying to save this weapon. Looks like Fallen won't go for the chase, and he'll be able to maintain it. But again, you look at that round, a lot of what ifs. A lot of hindsight being 2020. If Ye wasn't that far pushed up, maybe play for the retake instead of playing for a somewhat hold there. But I did again mention that I wanted to see him get some picks and a little bit of aggressive play, but he didn't have the support that I was hoping for to help alleviate the pressure that would come his way once that first shot was either hitting or missing. But the bat coming back in, as you mentioned. MIBR currently up 6-3. And we haven't really seen too many aggressive plays out of the Brazilians. No rushes, very slow, calculated plays. Can't argue too much with it, considering they are currently winning.
Yeah, they've been given a lot of this ramp control for free, which it does worry me a little bit, because that was something that was so good from Swole Patrol yesterday, was really challenging this part of the map. It didn't always work, but at least they were trying to at least make their opponents fight for this portion. Instead, MIBR have sort of found it very easy to get into the site, get a bomb plant, and then it has to come down to the retake, which realistically, so far, it's not been going too well. They will this time, though, with Sub Rosa. 2 quick kills. I like this position from Furtho. It's one that gives me massive amounts of anxiety, but he's going to be hitting every single shot. 2 kills right back. We talk about the 5v3s, and well, it's happening again, Jason. As Fur has got his 3rd, still outside of the map at the moment. Tries to escape, but Sub Rosa will put him down. Gives them an opportunity here. The problem is the time is ticking. Sub Rosa's got his 4th. He only needs 1 more to finish this, but KNG is still standing. It's him versus Ye, and he knows he just has to burn this clock down. It has to be the attempted defusal, and it will not be happening. 9 kills on the board for KNG, a clutch to his name. And something interesting, just on the side for you, Jason. I've got David, or Dex, who you may know or may not know, I don't know, who works for ESL, and he's just told me that at the moment, KNG still currently has less maps than the coach. So it really does show how sort of short amount of time he's been within this team and how well he actually has been playing.
On another note, about Fur, by the way, different player, I found MIBR's solution to his broken wrist. Put him in a position where he doesn't have to move his hand much and just click heads. Set him up at an angle, you can just sit there and watch the spot. I mean, you saw right there, it's sitting on the railing, able to get 3 quick kills.
If someone could set me up like that, where I don't have to move or click the mouse, then I'm pretty sure I'll be good at this game.
I've seen you play, and I don't think anyone could do anything to help you.
I said kills. I don't have to move or click the mouse. That's nothing, Jason.
Yeah, but just playing on your account, people, it would just not fare well.
I do have some amazing pun guns that people are going to have to deal with, which every time someone else picks one up, I just get that. Ugh.
Just don't give people at home a dosha of what is on the weapons.
Medicine. There you go. Fantastic.
CZ in hand. Gets sprayed out through the smoke, unfortunately. Pretty clinical out of MIBR. Not too much damage being taken, at least in terms of deaths. Zelsis might be able to get one. But it looks like MIBR will be off to an 8-3 start. Oh, poor Zelsis.
Shoot the other player.
Yeah, if only he knew he was on 7 HP.
Oh, okay. Yeah, eventually. Now, realistically, Swag could just keep his Kevlar. It's not ideal. Actually, okay, he's managed to get an AK. That's a much better scenario for him, just looking to fall back out of the round and at least bring something forward. I don't think we've seen too many crazy Swag plays. It could just be the sort of curse of the in-game leader where he can't really put himself in too many of the positions he'd necessarily like. We did see that one crazy Deke shot, but it hasn't been the Swag show.
I mean, doesn't this just make you think like similar to NIP, where they just don't have that, or at least didn't have that strong in-game leader, and they just kept picking up players, but not picking up a player for that role in particular? And I mean, yeah, I casted Swag back in the day. When I say back in the day, I can legitimately say it this time, back in 2014, 15.
When he was 7 years old.
Yeah, when he was 7 years old. Came out of the womb with a mouse in hand.
Didn't he?
What?
You know a lot about the young players, that's what I'm saying.
8-3 for MIBRs. We're just going to switch topics here. Zelsis this time with the op in hand. And Ye. So the double op setup coming through. What worries me, though, is Zelsis really hasn't seen much what's going on at the A ramp. So Ye's generally been the one in this position. Knows what to expect out of the Brazilians. But this is a heavy investment. They lose this round with a double op. MIBR should be able to hit double digits, but there we go. He hits up the first. I think one big difference for Swole Patrol up against MIBR compared to Fury is obviously MIBR are a lot more passive in their play. They're not as aggressive. And I'm wondering if maybe Swole Patrol's used to playing against more of an aggressive style when it comes to Vertigo, or even the other maps later on when we get to them.
I think they were more aggressive themselves, though.
Swole Patrol?
Yeah, like
I mean, they were matching aggression.
Yeah, when they played their CT side last time, I feel like they were more aggressive than even Furia were a lot of the time. Like, okay, sure, on the B side, not so much, and in middle again. But when it came to A, they were fighting this. And, okay, sure, Zelsis at the beginning of this round went and had a little peek, but other than that, they've just been sitting back towards the sites and allowing MIBR to get bomb plants, which, I don't know, I expect MIBR to hold on to those rounds. Like, there's been a few that are close, and sure, if they'd won those clutches, it would be a different scoreline altogether, but they didn't, and they allowed MIBR to get into these scenarios. This time, though, they do have the man advantage, but not for long. 2 quick kills coming in. The AWP onto Fallen now. While he can have it, he's going to use it well. 2 kills, bomb goes down with 7 seconds to spare, and, well, yeah, he's just not on the right side of the map. Doesn't have a kit. There's not really any chance here, so just tries to back away. I'd like to see him being the one getting aggressive if they're going to send an AWPer there.
Well, he did. He did before, but he lost the battle. I remember he got overrun, but it was only one time, and you can't really judge to have that one.
Why then send Zelsis to do the same thing? Like, obviously, if you're having Ye as your primary AWPer, that basically means you think he's the better AWPer, right? So why are you then going, okay, I failed, so let's send Zelsis to try and do the same thing that I can do? Like, you're just expecting him to meet the same fate. And
maybe it's confidence?
Maybe, but I don't know. He's always smiling. Surely he can't be that pessimistic about things if there's always a smile on his face.
Well, there's one man without a smile on his face. Not going to be a smile until the map is done, until the series is done, and of course until they get into the finals. But this position right there, you've seen MIBR use this so many times, and yet Swole Patrol have been caught off guard by it just as many times as they used it. They haven't been able to punish that position. We did see Swag holding that angle a little bit early on in that round, but I guess the smokes coming through forced him to actually rotate back out and go for the aggressive smoke to kind of force him to move through a smoke before they could use their own smoke to plant that bomb down. Oh, you wanted to see A, by the way, at ramp.
Yeah.
There you go.
He does have one of the only weapons, though, unfortunately, so they kind of needed to make some sort of play. But again, they've thrown this smoke initially. Taco is already past it, and once again, it looks like they're about to try and hold on. That's a nice kill from Neptune, though. He's had a few of those, just like sneaky kills in the back lines. Fallen, caught with a nade in his hand. He doesn't manage to get away with it, and that's actually the bomb down as well. So there's going to have to be a rotation at least to try and get that bomb back.
One of the 3 rounds Swole Patrol won was exactly this, where they had just pistols pretty much bought up, and they still were able to finish out the round. I think Fur was the only one to survive to bring the op into the next round.
Well, they had pistols and 1 AWP.
Yep.
Exactly the same. So yeah, it's a bit of a weird scenario, and it may just mean that they're pretty good at the cheese rounds where you do something a little bit different. I don't think we've seen anyone peek over the top of the sandbags just yet. I don't think we've had this much aggression from them at all, other than just sending a solo warp over there, and yeah, this is working wonderfully. Just taking the fights, winning every single duel, and now KNG left to try and clean things up a bit. I don't know if you expect Zelsis to be this close, and that'll be a freebie. 5 alive, don't know how that happens. That's one of those rounds that you can't really explain, but I think it was mainly based off them finally having a proper fight into ramp.
And I would love to see them do what they've done in the force-up/eco rounds yesterday against Furia. Just get aggressive on ramp, but with weapons, with guns, with some proper utility use. Take that position away from MIBR.
Even then, a lot of the time they were using, say, an MP9, where they could just get there quick enough to spray a few bullets, get a 1-for-1 trade. But while that's going on, the rest of the team was setting up to hold the remainder. Like, Swag was basically using himself as a meat shield, and as long as he trades 1-for-1, the rest of the team now have the space to work.
Yeah.
Instead, prior to this, they've just been going, okay, you try and face us with an AWP, or we'll throw a deep smoke, hold it for a little bit, waste a bit of time, and then fall back, which evidently has not been working.
It doesn't accomplish anything for them because they, like you're saying, they're giving up the real estate anyways, and then MIBR just go for the execute that they normally would have anyway.
It only works if you are doing well at holding onto the site, because you're basically trying to buy enough time so that then when they go for the plant, they're a little bit later than maybe they'd want to be, and you can maybe drop the bomb or still hold onto the site. If the bomb goes down, then yeah, you are right. It's kind of null and void because the time doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah.
Like, you wasting their time, it's now against you anyway. So hopefully they'll be able to gain a little bit more control, because that's mainly what MIBR have been doing. They've been very good in after plant positions on this A site, and they've been gaining the control fairly often. Most of the map, other than that, was maybe a 1 or 2 aggressive plays into middle, and the same on B, but they were a lot less successful than the A takes that they've had. And again, it's just going to be Zelsis having a little bit of a look.
For this position, I mean, obviously he can hit the shot and look to back away, but I feel like you lose so much if he goes down. Like, if he just gets caught off, if a flashbang comes through and he dies, you've lost a lot of control that you could have had on the A site.
You've just lost the site.
Yeah.
Because from anywhere else that Swag stands, unless he's just going to go like YOLO mode and just run in and try and spray everyone down, he has to go back behind the smokes. Nonetheless, this round doesn't seem like it's going to matter. There's going to be one defender. It's Neptune. He has to be careful. I think he made the spot there, so that will at least throw that smoke down. And they've got a lot of utility left. There's only 35 seconds left on the clock, and Swole Patrol still have 3 Molotovs, a smoke, 2 smokes even, and a load of flashbangs. So they're in a good situation here. The same can be said for the T's, but there should be a lot of stopping power, and Subrose is already in on the flank. He did make a little bit of sound, but it doesn't seem like they've actually noticed it. So he should be able to come in, and he's just waiting for them to make their move up the top, and there's Taco already going down. Now they have to panic a little bit, and you can already see they're starting to look behind them, so he doesn't even really need to push. However, there's still kills coming back in. Fallen, has he got enough time to get the bomb down? That's going to be ridiculously close, but he has.
Don't tell me they win this. Do not tell me MIBR pull this off. KNG by himself up against 2, but he's not going to spot out Zelsis. I was going to say, if Sabrosa takes down Fall and there's just trying to go up the staircase, that would have been the bomb down. That would have been the round over. But obviously they win the round in the end, and that should put MIBR on an awkward buy-up into the last round of the first half. So ideally, if Swole Patrol take this round, you're not looking at too bad of a scoreline at the end of the first half.
Yeah, I think they managed 7 yesterday in their CT half, which it wasn't bad, but I think there were more problems on their T side. It was very one-dimensional. I think Furia were much better in the retakes than they were when it came to the A site. They were pretty good at getting back in and finding the kills, so I'm a little bit worried still, especially with MIBR already on 9 rounds. But if it's a map they don't play, maybe there'll be a few more holes in their defense for Swole Patrol to exploit. You have to remember that this is Furia's bread and butter map. This is one that they like to play. And what else is? Hasn't had too much luck with this AWP just yet. They may have even heard the scope. They're very, very close. Nice shot. Is he going to be able to get back around the corner? Maybe just about. In fact, Taco actually jumps up, but he's only going to be able to net himself 1 kill on the flashbangs, and the utility being expended by the CT side are just going to hold him back. In fact, Zelsis now picks up a second, and I don't see a world where KNG and Lucas turn this around, at least pushing into the A side. They've got lots of time. They don't really need to fight this.
I do like, though, how Swag was able to finally stop the position that MIBR has been using to get into the A side, that little boost up. Problem is the smokes have come back down. Nice little kill out of Swag, and Zel's going to close that one out. So they finally do pick up some rounds, 9-6. Again, it's not the best scoreline in the world for them, but considering how the match was actually going, I think they're going to be happy they're able to at least put 6 on the board. And more importantly, to take the rounds at the end of the hack, it's some morale boost for the team coming into the second half when they have to swap onto the T side. I think they're starting to wake up here.
Yeah, and I definitely agree. I think there's some potential for them to do things, especially when you look towards the CT side of MIBR. I am worried about that double AWP, and I sort of think that this is still, or it should still be fairly easy for the Brazilians. We're going to see after the break if Swole Patrol are going to be able to turn this around.
Swole Patrol looking to get their flex on in the second half of Vertigo up against MIBR. We talked about Sabrosa earlier on, Tom, and wanting to see him step up. We did see it, at the tail end of yesterday, but he's been able to do it so far, currently at 12 kills for himself. On the side of MIBR, everyone seems to be really doing their job. Lucas, yeah, 5 and 10, hasn't really needed to accomplish too much since it was a 9-6 scoreline at the end of the first half anyways. But I'm curious to see how the T side's going to go for Swole Patrol, because I think this is going to be their real challenge.
Yeah, I think yesterday when we were watching their game, I think they focused a little bit too much on the A site for my liking. Like, it is one of those maps where you are going to lean in that direction. We saw it a lot from MIBR here, but I think that was more based off success. Like, they were able to get into the site, get the bomb down so easily that you can't really blame them for doing it. Like, you're going to keep doing that. But yesterday, I think Furia realized, they started to get a little bit more aggressive themselves and fight some of those positions, and that's where the game started to slip away. There were obviously, again, some clutches and things like that, which did eventually close out the match for them, but I think maybe if we saw a little bit more mid-presence coming out from them, because that is... I would compare this map in a sense to Dust 2. Like, you can't cover everything all of the time. Like, you have to take gambles. You see teams on Dust 2 push 3 through long, or maybe they double up in B for one round, or they completely abandon mid. Like, there's different things that teams do to try and be a bit more dynamic on that map, and I think this is something that you have to do as CTs. So if you're on the T side, you've got to go, okay, where are they gambling? Are they taking ramp? Where have we now got somewhere else where we can go? Because if you're just going ramp every round, eventually they'll go, okay, if we just take ramp away from them, they don't have anything else.
I'm a little bit worried, though, for Swole Patrol up against MIBR if we do see like a double op setup. Obviously not super common when it comes to this map, but seeing Fallen already use it earlier on today, we've seen some fantastic shots out of him. But I don't know what they're going to be able to do much up against it. I think teamwork was something that was a little bit lacking within the roster yesterday. I mean, the executes came down to just, well, either like a set play or trying to look for like an individual, like a frag or something like that. Yeah, hero play. And obviously, with the way MIBR has already been able to show up today, they're looking good. They found the weakness in Swole Patrol, was that position right there, the boost up for Fallen. So many times, Swole Patrol let that position go, and they got caught off guard and eventually did lose the round. But finally, the round that they did hold on to it, the round that they did prevent MIBR the free reign, they actually won it. So obviously, it's going to be a little bit too late to change anything about that now, but as they move into the T side, maybe that's an avenue for them to work on. Maybe that's a potential plan. I think a lot of it's going to come down to those individual plays of hitting those early first kills.
Well, I think as well we saw Zelsis with a little bit on this map where he was able to be quite aggressive on the T side and was finding a lot of kills, even with like the Mac 10, for example. Like, he did very well. But the double up is what actually really scares me the most, just because if you look at the two top fraggers on MIBR at the moment, it is KNG and Fallen. And I think that they are two players that don't necessarily like purely go off confidence. I would say that Fallen's probably a little bit more level-headed, but KNG, on the other hand, if he's playing well, you're dead. Like, that's it. That's game over, because he'll just get better and better and better as the game goes on. He'll get more and more audacious, and you'll start thinking like, oh, well, he's playing well, so he's just going to keep doing what he's doing because it works. Oh, no, he's going to start pushing you. He's going to start fighting you, and that's where it's game over for Swole Patrol. They need to shut him down the second he gets on that AWP, or just don't allow him to get there.
Well, the man I want to see be able to shut him down is Ye. We saw him on Swole Patrol. He had a little bit of a rough start. We did see him challenge middle in the beginning of the CT side, but he started to come into his own as the actual rounds did come through. He was able to hit quite a few more shots. Neptune, honestly, I talked about him before, again, like the worst performing player on the team within the last 3 months, but his like just random plays, his random pushes through smokes, like we saw Art yesterday from Furia, it caught MIBR off so many times.
Yeah, I definitely think that there's a lot of individuals within this roster that could step up to the plate. Like, I think in history, you're obviously going to look for swag, but I'm not expecting it from him now. I think he has moved more into that sort of like passive leadership role. Like, sure, he'll still hit a shot every once in a while that you go, yeah, that's a swag thing. Like, that doesn't make sense for anybody else in the game to hit, but at the same time, he's not necessarily like entry fragging. He's not necessarily like being in the positions you'd necessarily want to see him in. He's more going, okay, well, Zelsis wants to take an aggressive peek. How can I back him up? Okay, I'll hold the cross onto the sandbags. Or, yeah, he's going to go for a peek over here. How can I do something to support him? Which, not a role I ever thought I'd see swag in, but it's definitely a role I think he could do. And I think he seems to have the right mindset for it. Like, even if you look at the interview they had earlier, he wasn't going like, yeah, we're going to smash them. We're going to win the whole thing. Like this sort of cocky young kid that you may have used to see on streams where he was just wrecking everyone. It's like, no, we're aiming to get into that second group stage. That's realistic. Like, if we can get there, maybe we can make it out. It'd be great if we can do it in the first time, but hey, that's not the goal. Like, the goal is to at least get through. If you can get to the Pro League finals, that is massive for the team. Whereas if they go, okay, we're going to win everything, we're going to be MIBR and Fury, it's like, I think it's
important to like manage your expectations, right? Because obviously if you go into it, okay, we're going to qualify, or we better qualify as first to get straight into the finals, and you go in and lose that first match, the chances of being able to do that now have just been shot pretty much. I mean, obviously there's some sort of window you can still make it through, but I do like that. And I still find it weird though to see like an all-star player like Swag, like such a standout player in the past, be put in the position of in-game leading, because we know what he can do. If you take that pressure off of his shoulders of having to lead the team, he can pull off more individual play and can be such an explosive player that maybe the side of Swole Patrol do need. But we're about to hop back into the map. If you guys are just joining us, it's currently Swole Patrol up against MIBR. It was a 9-6 first half score in favor of MIBR. And now Swole Patrol going to moving over to the T side to attack, and MIBR onto the defensive side to, well, defend. Good job, Jason.
Thank you, Jason.
Yeah. If you didn't know what defensive side meant, it means you defend. Nothing like using the word you're trying to describe or to define in the sentence.
It does help. Like, it makes things very easy for you. Maybe not for anybody who doesn't understand, but I think most of the people within the audience at home should be able to understand.
Just cover all my bases, you know?
Defend.
Just cover my bases here.
Well, either way, we are going to have the purchase up. No kit for the CT side, but a couple of flashbangs and a smoke. Maybe going to be used if the bomb does go down on that A site. Like, you can get the flashbangs to get yourself back in. That's something we see an awful lot of the time when the smokes have fallen. You sort of use those pop flashes to make your way forward. The other thing as well is when it comes to the Molotov, like where is that going to be used? Is it going to be thrown onto sort of the top of those boxes to clear some players back? May not be able to, because there's an aggressive play coming in from the CTs. Fallen, you can see, is set up with a couple of flashbangs ready, and there it goes. It's just used to try and get his teammates further in, and aggression coming out from KNG. This is what I mean. He's definitely feeling confident at the moment, all the way wrapping around. That position on the map is also going to change, but don't really have too much time to talk about it because they're still pushing and they've got that early advantage. And now the problem is all that utility that they had ready was obviously for set position. So now they've got to do something on the fly. Like, where are we going to put our smoke? Where are we going to put that remaining Molotov? And Fallen's used his just to try and stop them being able to wrap around.
With the information MIBR got towards ramp 2 with the aggressive play, they know they're heading back towards this B side. The push going to come through. Fallen charging straight in, so I don't know how else doesn't pick up that kill, and Fallen gets himself a double and a triple. Sabrosa able to shut him down, and he's going to be now in a 1-on-2. Saw him pick up 4 kills a couple of rounds ago. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to do it yet again. He does have the Glock. He does not have the bomb, but at least has some time to work with here.
Yeah, he was the utility man in this round, so no armor even available to him. We'll be able to find a USP, but just as he does, Lucas is there to put him down. MIBR get themselves the pistol round onto the border, second as well, so you have to bear in mind that in the last half, I think they got off to a 5-0 start. So
yeah,
they were in a position early on where they only had to grind out a few more rounds for it to be a good half, whereas it was a long grind back to even get it to the 9-6. If this happens again, well, 9 + 5, Jason, are you going to be able to cope with that one?
14.
That took
I almost did the hand
long.
thing. I almost did the hand thing.
You only have 10 fingers in your hands. You're going to have to get your toes out.
No. British school systems, come on. They didn't teach you the hand thing with 9s. Oh my gosh. Sabrosa, again, alone in a 1-on-4. And this is kind of what we expect out of Swole Patrol, right? Towards ramp, just get aggressive, push. We saw them do it against Fear quite a few times, and now MIBR using a trick out of their own playbook here. You're not really going to expect too much out of Sabrosa. There we go. Fur's going to close it out. 11-6 for MIBR. It did take him a little bit of time for Swole Patrol to come alive, to start to show some signs of life in the first half. But I hope it doesn't happen in the second, because they don't have too many rounds left to give.
Yeah, that's for sure. They are going to be able to get themselves the purchase into this one. It's not bad. There's still some pieces missing, not a single Molotov, which means there's a lot of those angles that, okay, sure, you can smoke behind them, but you kind of want to throw a Molotov, especially on the A site, because it just allows you to gain some more space. Taco already. These are the sort of SMG plays we were talking about that Swag was actually doing yesterday. Nice shot from Ye, however. And Taco get himself the gun back. I think that's the goal. And actually, the deep smoke is going to hold them out for a while. I like this from MIBR. Just basically take away this ramp control. And this was something I mentioned. Like, they were going A an awful lot in their matches yesterday. What are they going to do now they can't?
It just feels like Inferno. It feels like Banana. Get the early control, keep smokes there, get them blocked off, take away half the map from them.
It'll be interesting once there's a new avenue to walk around. So there's actually going to be like a new pathway just to the left of where the forklift is. And more interestingly, there's actually no longer a forklift. So yeah, some changes to be made. Oh no. Fur and lurking in positions. Right, this is pretty much something he is the king of, and they have absolutely no idea he's there. First kill goes his way, second will surely as well. In fact, it's still a surprise for Sabrosa. Even after Zelsis dies, he goes, wait, there's a guy there? Oh dear. Yay. We got the first kill. It's not going to get anything more. 12-6. Domination. SMGs doing a lot of the work, so making even more cash for MIBR. And yeah, I'm pretty sure that they're quite calm in this scenario, Jason. They don't look like they're breaking much of a sweat.
Yeah, I hope not. I mean, they're looking like a pretty solid team. You know, again, people might look at this current, you know, scoreline and matchup like, oh, take it with a grain of salt. It's MIBR against Swole Patrol. I mean, you're not going to expect too much out of Swole Patrol. It's not your Straw. It's not your Team
Yeah.
Liquid. It's not, you know, maybe even Furious since they're so known for this map. But the fact is, Swole Patrol have been able to beat some really good teams on this map. They were able to push Furia pretty damn far yesterday, 13-16 scoreline. But MIBR have clearly shown that they've not only worked on Inferno, they've been able to prepare for Vertigo as well.
Yeah, they seem to just be, well, just enjoying themselves here. Like, they've been so good with map control.
Yeah, and just think of how much time's passed, which isn't that much since Moscow for the Blast event. They've done a lot of work since then. They put in a lot of time, and even with the broken wrist and clavicle, they're still, well, first still playing well, and they're still playing well in general as a team. And I think they've definitely improved a hell of a lot since we've last seen them.
Yeah, I think that's just basically down to them having some time to practice. A V4, they sort of admitted that they weren't necessarily in the best of form. Even still, we expected them, especially after Mouse Sports went out, to take that event, which they weren't able to do. Obviously, that event in itself was a bit of a surprise with our grand final being two teams I don't think we ever expected to see.
Yep.
But even still, like, to come back and now go, okay, this is the grind. This is where we start getting back into things. Pro League was sort of the first big name they want to get through as quickly as possible. Like, although it's always nice to come back and chill for another week, I'm sure they'd take the practice over that and make sure they get straight through. Very aggressive play from Fur, and well, that is at least the opening going the way of Swole Patrol. Still a long way to go, and Fallen, he has been fantastic in this series so far. 22 kills to his name, 106, probably more than that ADR after he gets that frag. It seems like he's taken his new role pretty well.
Nice little, I think that was a bounce off Ye's head almost. But again, ramp control. That's what we're seeing Swole Patrol do. Very one-dimensional. You already mentioned it before we even started the actual match, that's what we're probably going to see out of them. And MIBR was already able to punish it earlier on. KNG feeling confident, trying to push out. Subrose is going to punish that. It's going to be a 4-on-3 now. A chance for Swole Patrol to get around to the board on this T side. And they should be able to get the bomb towards A. There's going to be one man left to lurk, though. It's going to be Taco, and Taco will get one, but he'll be done. Swole Patrol should be able to lock this out.
That's left all onto Lucas. He's been one of the quieter players, but hasn't really needed to do too much. Probably unaware of Subrosa. He isn't going to be able to do anything here. 13-7, still so much cash on the board for MIBR after how clean they've managed to keep the rounds, and doing it with SMGs just makes it that much easier for them. And there is going to be a purchase back. I wonder if this is where we should at least see one AWP, but I wonder if we'll get the double, because I'm always excited to see this team with two AWPs. It is going to be happening as well, and both players have been performing. Kenji's been a little bit quieter in the second half so far, but I think that's more based off just not having anything to do, because a lot of the rounds have been going by so quickly.
Well, he's going to get aggressive over towards ramp, looking for the shot. I almost want to see Swole Patrol when they notice the double op setup to just become explosive on one of these sites. Fallen as well, trying to lock out a large portion of the map here. We'll hit the first shot. More importantly, again, just what Fallen does so well. Get a shot off, whether he gets the kill or not, safely able to back away. He always puts himself in those positions that you're not going to get the return frag back onto him.
Yeah, it's probably the most frustrating thing to play against. Kenji's left blind, actually, by his own flash, and there's a definite opportunity there for him to get a pick. Fur does eventually go down to Subrosa. I think that was still for the battle in middle. Actually, Subrosa's continuous push forward. He's managed to find the kill onto Fallen as well. He's now on 19 himself. A good performance from him. KNG not going to be the same fate. The headshot with the AWP, leaving us back into a 3 versus 3. Still the majority of the players here on this A site. Neptune making his way back around. This position so difficult to clear. Taco played it in the previous round. KNG misses the shot, but he should have the support. Never mind. It's going to be the kill for Swag, and then the combination onto KNG leaves Lucas alone. The 1 versus 2, slightly better situation than the last round, but still a tough one.
They definitely need to keep both players alive. Their economy is hurting quite a bit, but then again, so is MIBR. Lucas does have the kit, has no utility to use is the problem. Doesn't know exactly where the two players are going to be, and he just has so many angles to clear. If he takes down Swag, there's a very real possibility he actually could close this round down. He's going to get the first kill now, 42 HP. Yay, trying to rotate his position, catches him off guard, and a little bit of lock the round down for Swole Patrol to take 2 in a row. They're not out of the woodworks just yet. Buying into this round is going to be so difficult. I wonder if MIBR are going to go for the aggressive play towards ramp yet again, with obviously the SMGs coming through. Try to take away that large real estate yet again. And Sub Rosa, you mentioned before we even started off the actual game today, as a man you want to start to see step up, because when we did see him do it yesterday, they were starting to take some real rounds, and he was starting to put up some big numbers. He gets a nice double kill there.
Yeah, well, we've got more stats. David again, he's back again. And Sub Rosa has won 7 out of his 8 opening duels, which is pretty disgusting. I wonder if he's going to lose this one now. Is this the commentator curse? He's going to get boosted up, and again, well, let's turn it up to 8 versus 9. He's doing fantastically well at getting openings on this T side. It's what they need from him, but there's still kills back. They never seem to get away with it clean. That's the problem. There's no moment where MIBR are particularly out of the round. The only problem here is they have surrendered the majority of the control of this A site, and Fur not going to be able to do anything with the AWP. Taco may just have to make the decision to save the weapon. They do have enough money to buy into the next round, but just give them a stronger purchase, and an SG going onto the CT side is pretty much something you want.
You'll be happy with it.
Yeah, take it.
Not going to be happy you lose the round, but again, you're still in the lead by 4 at the end of this. But yeah, Sub Rosa, as you mentioned before, was 7 out of 8, now 8 out of 9. And if he continues to play like this, I think there's a very real possibility we could see Swole Patrol tie things up at 13 eventually.
Well, that's also, like, a lot of the time when you see players with, say, like 21 kills, some of them come from ecos, some of them are, like, maybe in a clutch or 2 or an attempted clutch where the round's not necessarily that important. To get 8 opening duels out of 9 is disgusting. Like, that's just a massive performance from him. Like, that's kicking off rounds and giving you opportunities.
I still want to see some sort of, like, limiter within himself where he gets 2 kills and then backs away. Obviously, like, when you're in that moment, right, you're in the actual zone, you think you can get that 3rd kill. But at some point, you have to think about the big picture. Because if you back away, you get such a big man advantage. It's obviously, if you're not in the situation, it's hard to kind of judge it. But we've seen a couple of times now where he would get 2 kills and then would continue to be aggressive and then would get picked off.
The thing with that, though, is I feel like a lot of players are always going to be all or nothing. Because if you have that mentality of, okay, I've got 2, now I should back off, why are you not going, I've got 1, I should back off? Like, that's the sort of mentality I look at. Like, are you basically saying that, okay, he should be just getting an entry kill and then fading away, or does he have to stop at 2? Like, if he's doing well, I'd just say let him do what he does.
Yeah.
And, it's down to his teammates not to get traded out instead.
Well, we're seeing some aggressive play come out of MIBR. You saw, I think that was Taco immediately pushing towards ramp. Nice little smoke to come through. And we've seen Swole Patrol switch some things up. They're not as heavy on the presence towards A, trying to allow the mid control to come through. And I think a lot of people have been talking about that. When it comes to Vertigo, they want to see more mid presence out of the T and even CT side, since it can be such a pivotal point on the map. This man here on your screen, 8 out of 9 opening duels won. I wonder if he's going to be able to do it yet again. Double up setup for MIBR, a heavy investment into this round. Taco will be there to help support KNG, but he's going to lose his life. It's going to be Fallen there as well. And 2 ops is definitely going to be better at 1 when it comes to ramp.
That's just filthy. Just sending. Yeah, he's got to be careful. Oh no, there's no way that Ye expected. Remember player to be here. Sub Rosa's just gone running through, but I don't know how he gets away with that. Just being able to reset his aim fast enough, and is given an opportunity. It's the double AWP setups that have done all of the work so far, but a missed shot or a gap found, and he could be stealing this round away. Fallen is waiting on the other side, and there's the missed shot. Now he can look to gain a little bit of ground. The problem is only 35 seconds left, and that bomb is very far away. And you can see that the CTs know it. They're going to go running all the way back on the defense. They don't want to take this fight versus Sub Rosa. They know he's performing well. 98 ADR, and still a chance here, but the clock's going to be a bigger problem. He needs to find this kill onto Fallen very quickly indeed, and in fact, he's going to have to start running Fallen, just waiting around that corner, and this is just dirty. He's right behind him. An easy cleanup in the end. Smart play from MIBR, and well, We talked about that double up setup. It's the second time. It's just going to be the ace between the two players.
And again, the bane of Swole Patrol's existence was the ramp again. The amount of rounds they've been losing out because of them trying to take that position and MIBR being prepared for it, whether or not they're aggressive or having 2 ops plus a rifler there. I think at this point, you just got to give it up. Let Sabrosa work middle, help assist him in middle where he's been so successful already so far. MIBR taking the timeout here. I think he's taking 2 back-to-back, actually. One in the prior round.
It's one of those situations where, obviously, I don't think they should just abandon ramp. I think maybe leave Ye to lurk around that angle with the AWP, maybe have a chance to find the shot. But I do agree, they shouldn't just, like, the all-out fight of it just seems to not be working for them. And, well, a lot of it comes down to both the orbs being there. That's not something you can expect too often. It seems like that was a good read coming out from MIBR. By the looks of it, if at first you don't succeed, then go to B.
I think that's how it goes. I've heard that before. But speaking of going B, look at the presence of MIBR over towards his position in the map. Seems to just always have that perfect read. 3 players towards ramp last round when they went towards A. 3 players towards B as they head towards this side again. Be able to hit their shots, and Swole Patrol, all or nothing here. Everything thrown into this round. Yay with the op. They have a good amount of utility to use, to be fair. But Zelsis only on the CZ, and an ump for Swag. Not the most ideal weaponry, especially when you're up against Fallen, who's here prepared to shoot. Everything being thrown in as Fallen's still holding an off angle here and trying to look around the corner. They haven't actually spotted him out just yet. Well, Swag's going to do that as he does lose the ultimate price. Zelsis is going to push him with the CZ. Gets the kill, picks up an M4 with 40 seconds left to go, but he's got 3 players to find. Or MIBR are going to be on map point.
Oh, he needs to pull off a miracle, then it's not going to happen. Taco with the peak gives MIBR their 15th round. Fallen really is just having a field day. 26 kills to his name. I think the only man close to him on the opposing side is Sabrosa. He has been doing very well, but I don't think they can really play against the might of this MIBR side at the moment. And it doesn't really seem like there's too much of a weak link. I think Lucas might be down the bottom of the board. A bit of a quieter game, but everybody else is positive. Neptune, I'm not even sure he's had a kill in the second half.
Yeah, I was just about to point that out. I think the majority, if not all of them, came on that CT side. And that was a player I was looking forward to having a successful game. And speaking of successful, it looks like MIBR are going to be successful yet again to maintain this A ramp. And should be able to lock down the rest of this map as well. Sabrosa, well, he's not going to win that duel. And MIBR, 16-9. Not a bad little map for them, considering they haven't had too much time to practice, but definitely the practice they have put in has paid off. And they are now getting one more map away from going 2-0.